Da-dum, da-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-dum. What does that even mean, Bowers Game Corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review. Today I'm very excited to check out Sutakku from Smirk and Dagger. This is for 1+ players, ages 14+, and it'll take you about 15 minutes to play. And in Sutakku, it is the dice stacking game of pushing one's luck. Yeah, it's just that simple. You're going to roll dice and you're going to push your luck to see how high you can get your stack of dice. And hopefully have the most points. Sounds simple? It is simple, but is it good? I'll tell you that at the end. Let's open it up and check it out. Alright then, we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of Sutakku. First and foremost, we're going to handy dandy rule sheet. It's probably about, 1/2 of a regular page, double-sided, black and white. It's perfectly serviceable and I've been up and running in no time at all. And the back is actually just a story of how the game was created and the stonecutter. It's actually a little bit of an interesting story, but the rules should have you up and running in no time at all. And I can teach you how to play the game right now. In fact, I can probably show you a whole round. That's how simple this game is. So, Sutakku is a game where you are going to be trying to stack up dice as high as you can without going bust. What am I talking about? Well, you're going to get a bunch of these 6-sided dice, and they are in Japanese. I believe it's Japanese, Korean, Asian. I'm not exactly sure what language is, Chinese. But they are regular 6-sided dice, and they have those characters, though. So you're going to have to look at this to know the numbers. Now, you're also going to get a score pad. You're going to be going over 5 rounds as such. Whoever has the most points will be the winner of the game. You're also going to get this nice little bag, which is completely useless for the game, but it makes it so you can actually take the game with you, which is kind of nice, because you can take it with you and play it. So that is fun. Last but not least, we have these Smirky Challenge rule cards, which I'm not going to go too terribly much into them, but you can add them into the game to add a little bit of gotcha to the game, and they will essentially be challenges that people must deal with. So the roller may not roll a double, or they bust. If successfully avoided, the roller gains 30 bonus points. So that's a high-risk, high-reward kind of thing. So if someone's about to win the game, or they have a high score, you can play this on them, and they might get richer, or they might go bust, and bust just means they get 0. But these add a little bit of an extra little crinkle to the game if you want to add them in there. But let's go over how the base game goes itself. So on your turn, you're always going to be rolling 3 dice like so. And wow, that is such a bad roll. So we had a 3, we had a 6, and we had, oh my goodness, we had double 6s. So how this is going to work is you have to put at least 2 of these dice onto your stack. And you have to make sure they go from the lowest number to the highest number. So we could do 3 and 6, and obviously at this point it would not make any sense not to do that. So we would put this 3, 6, 6. And now we would have to decide, do we want to push our luck and roll 3 more dice in the hopes that they will go on top of here, or do we want to stop? Now, when you put new dice on top, they have to either equal the number on top or be greater than. So right now, if I were pushing my luck, I would have to make sure that I get 2 6s, which is kind of crazy. But there are some bonuses that are in play. But right now, let's just say I stop for right now. So how the scoring works is, I have 1, 2, 3 dice, and my highest number is a 6. So 6 times 3, I would score 18 points this round. Ooh, spooky. I did score 18 points last time. And that would be my entire turn, and we move on to the next person. So let's see how the next person does. We'll call her Jane. So Jane rolls it up, and Jane has a much better roll than I do. She has a 2, and she has a 3. Now, she also has a 6, and most likely she's not going to want to keep that 6 because, that would limit her next roll. So she's got a 2, she's got a 3, and she's going to say, I'm going to continue to go. So she rolls the dice again, and she gets a 1, which is not helpful, but she also gets a 3 and a 5, which is great. So she might take the 3, because we can put it there, and then the 5, and now she would be at 20 points, because she has a 5 up top and 4 dice. Now let's start talking about some of the bonuses that you can collect, because right now, Jane could get a bonus if she pushes her luck. So if you decide to push your luck when you have a 5 on top and you're successful, you get your score, plus you get 50-point bonus, which would be great. Also, same thing with 6. If you ever have a 6 on the top and you push your luck and you succeed, you get a 100-point bonus. So you can really get a lot of points. Also, if you're able to get all 12 dice stacked up, you are going to get, you're just going to win the game pretty much. You get a 200-point bonus, plus you get 12 times 6, which would be numbers 72 points. So you get 272 points that turn, which, as you can see, that's a lot of points. Those are our grand totals over there. Now, you may ask what happens if, the stack falls down. Well, this is not a dexterity game, so nothing would happen. So let's do one more mock. Oh, there's one more thing I need to show you, because there's one more roll. So let's just say, you got doubles. This is actually a great one. So you can, this is a difficult choice. Do we want to keep the 2 2s, or do we want to get the 2s and the 3? You know what? I think we're going to keep the 2 2s. We're going to keep our options open, so we would roll 3 more dice again. So let's just say we're not happy with this roll. So we have a 1, 2, 5, not the greatest roll in the world. What you can decide to do is you can do, once per turn, a mulligan. Now, a mulligan means you get to re-roll 2 of your dice, and one of your dice goes away. It's just gone. So you're gambling that the fact that both these dice are going to work for you. And this was a somewhat successful mulligan, because we got ourselves a 4, we got ourselves a 5, put it on top of there, and now we're sitting at 20 points. Now, you can mulligan only once per round. So if I wasn't happy with my next 3 rolls, I couldn't just keep mulliganing over and over and over again. But it is something useful that you can do. Also, there is a special rule where if you roll triples, so let's just say I rolled 3 of a kind, but they were 1s. That would be really crummy for me. But if you roll 3 of a kind and you can't use it, you get to re-roll the dice for free. But you're going to keep going until you complete 5 rounds. Whoever has the most points after 5 rounds will be the winner of Sutakku. And that, in a nutshell, is how the game is played. Alright then, Sutakku from Smirk and Dagger. What are my final thoughts? Let's go to the pros, let's go over the cons. First on the con side, gotta get it out of the way. This is an incredibly simple game, which is going to be a turn-off to some people. It does not get much more simple than this, and I find it perplexing that they put ages 14+. I played this with a 6-year-old, and she had no problems with it at all. Granted, we did not play with the Smirky challenge cards because she couldn't read the best, but still, very simple game, which also means it's really devoid of many choices, which is going to be a turn-off to a lot of people. The only real choices are, do I push my luck? Do I do a mulligan? That's about it. Now, granted, when you add the Smirky challenge cards, you do have a little bit of challenge, like, who should I play the card on? Ooh, it's a high-risk, high-reward card. I don't know. But really, there's not many choices at all. Also, it comes with the Japanese theme, and I'm not against the theme. I know that they were trying to do, but it really is sort of a hindrance to me, because while the story about the Stonecutter actually is an interesting story that they include with the booklet, the theme is unnecessary, and I would have much rather had any other theme. You know, they made nice custom dice for this game, and they should have just slapped on a different theme, because it's annoying when you roll the dice and you don't know what the number is, and you have to look down at the little thing. Now, it's not a huge deal. I'm making it sound like it's a big deal. It's not a big deal, because you have it right in front of you, so you just look and say, okay, that's a 3, that's a 4, and remember, that's a 1. But it just seems like an unnecessary little hoop that you have to go through. Alright, any other cons that I have with it? It's very simple, it's very light, unnecessary theme. Oh, some people aren't going to like these Smirky challenge cards. I personally enjoy them, but some of them are a little bit mean. It adds just a little gotcha element to the game, and some people just don't like that. So that's a your mileage may vary kind of thing. I'd recommend playing without it and then adding it in to see if you like it. Oh, last con is it's one of those games where you just do the same thing over and over and over again. You play over, I believe it's 5 rounds, and you just rinse, wash, repeat over and over again. Oh, yeah, I got one more. And that's because there's no dexterity aspect to this game, which means that the game itself, stacking dice, is completely unnecessary. Because if this happens, and you're stacking your dice, and you get to that 7-1, and it's just, oh no, you'd be like, oh no, you get no points, but in actuality, the game says, yeah, whatever, we don't care if you knocked your dice stack over. Now, you can make it a house rule, it even says that in the rule booklet, but still, I feel like adding the dexterity element might give this just a little bit more legs. Instead of just a push your luck aspect, it also has a dexterity element, and also that could open up the potential for adding different crinkles to the game. I feel like it was a missed opportunity more than anything. Moving on to the pros, I enjoy Sutakku. This is a game that I've had for a long time. This is a game that I've had since I really started getting into the hobby. I remember seeing it at Gen Con, demoing at Gen Con, and be like, yeah, I think my wife would really like this game. And I got it, and then I tried it, and I was like, yeah, my wife really likes this game. And everyone who I've played it with, no one's hated the game. It's a very hard to hate game. It's simple, it's light, easy to learn, easy to teach. This is a great gateway game. This is a great drinking game. You know, it plays as many players as you want. So you got people, 7, 8 people around the table drinking and talking. This is not a bad game to play. And the score pad, it holds up to like 10 spots, which is great on them. And it's a lot of fun too when you're down in the points and you just have to keep pushing your luck. I always like to push my luck anyway. But that's when it really gets enjoyable. When you're in round 3 and you have 2 zeros, you're like, this is the one where I really got to make it all back up. And then the final round, because on the final round, pretty much everybody just goes bust except for the guy in first, or gal in first. So I do enjoy the game. It's a fun, light, quick game. It's great for families. It's great as a gateway game. Maybe, yeah, you could bust this out as a filler game if it's in the right kind of game night. I feel like you would probably know better than I do. Do your game nights tend to go for a slightly meatier fillers, and meatier fillers, or they like lighter fillers? If they like lighter fillers, this is not a bad one to check out. Now, as a solo game, because I always like to mention things as solo games, because I'm a solo gamer. I know there's a lot of solo gamers out there. This is a good solo game. I wouldn't buy it just for its solo element. Now, is it enjoyable, and have I done it a couple times just to see how high I can get my score? Yeah, it is. And for that aspect, I would say if you're looking at this as a game that you can play solo just for funsies, no. But if you're looking at this as something that you're going to play primarily with other people, and then maybe you want to play it solo from time to time, not a bad little solo game, but not one I would go out for. So, overall, Sutakku, I enjoy it. I've enjoyed it for a long time. This one's going to stay on my shelf for a long time just because it really fits a lot of different situations. If you've never played a hobby game in your entire life, you can pick this up and you have a good deal of fun. Or if you're just drunk as all get out and you want to play something fun, this is a fun one too. So that is Sutakku from Smirk and Dagger. A good game. It's not great. It's a perfectly good game that I can recommend. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on the subscribe button down below in the comments below. Let me know, what is your favorite kind of Chinese food? For me personally, I love General Tao's chicken, but crab rangoon and hot and sour soup. What I like to do is I get a big old bowl of hot and sour soup, and then I'll get crab rangoon, I'll get egg rolls, and I'll get sweet and sour chicken, and then I'll just take little nibbles off of each of them, and then I'll just let them soak and like marinate in the hot and sour soup so they absorb all the juices. Oh, it's so good! I used to be 300 pounds. Yeah, I love that sort of thing. But let me know in the comments below. Chinese food, do you like it? What's your favorite kind? As always, thanks for your time, YouTube.